Well, those were the headlines we've been tracking for you this evening. IIT Madras incubated Spacetech startup GalaxEye Space has announced the first close of its ongoing Series A round, raising $6.5 million led by Mela Ventures and Speciale Invest. The round also saw participation from ideaForge with additional investments from Rainmatter, Navam Capital, Faad Capital and Anicut Capital. The funds raised will be deployed to launch GalaxEye's first satellite, the Drishti Mission, and further develop their multi-sensor payload technology. To elaborate on all of this, joining me now is its co-founder and CEO, Suyash Singh. Suyash, welcome back to Startup Street. Now, you aim to shape the future of satellite image acquisition with GalaxEye Space. In fact, like I said earlier, the funds will help you launch your first satellite. So tell us how soon the launch will be and what is the current status?
No, first of all, thanks for having me on the interview today. We are pretty much gearing up for the launch, and this is where Series A is going to help us as well. I think we're roughly 12 months ahead of the launch today, so we can pretty much call ourselves as T minus 12 months away from the satellite to go into space, and pretty eager. We are moving towards it, finishing some of the key milestones. From a technology development perspective, testing perspective, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, so mid 2025 is when we should expect the launch. So Yash, you also plan to further develop GalaxEye's multi-sensor payload technology. You claim that you're on a path to becoming the world's first hybrid optical multispectral imaging and synthetic aperture radar payload company. Explain this for a layman, what this means and what pain point it solves.
Right. I think it's a very simple problem statement, to be honest. If you think of, satellite imagery acquisition from space, it is generally intermittent, and sometimes you'll have rains, sometimes you'll have nighttime imaging done. You will not find the satellite imagery always available at your perusal, which is always available. There'll be some 10% cloud cover. During rainy season, it is almost not there.
Yeah.
So with these multi-sensor payloads, the aim is to achieve that consistency. No matter what is the weather, no matter what is the time of the day, you should get a clear image, which you can actually use to do your own surveillance, your own monitoring, be it of a farmland or utilities or an infrastructure, or also very useful for the national defense or security monitoring purposes.
Okay. So yes, you've also pioneered India's first UAV SAR system for defense, and you've also teamed up with ideaForge. If you could talk to us about this partnership and the critical applications you're building for the defense market.
Yeah, I think we've been very excited about this partnership with ideaForge because they have been one of the successful players in the drone market so far, and given the kind of product that they have, we're very confident our payloads will perform to best of its efficiencies with that. I guess both of us, ideaForge and GalaxEye together, wants to further develop these solutions so that we can do nighttime monitoring and monitoring during fog, which is very difficult today with the general cameras or even with the thermal payloads. So we want to extend, or push the boundaries of science to do fog penetration as well as surveillance at the time of night with this.
Okay, all right. Suyash, in the union budget this year, the finance minister announced a 1,000 crore rupee fund for space tech development. The fund is expected to assist more than 180 government-recognized space technology startups in India. What do you make of this? How encouraging is this for the sector?
Oh, I think that's a great step, to be very honest. And I think that has showed a very clear intent how this government is looking at space tech as a sector. They want to develop this as much as possible, not just in the areas which have been there for a while, such as Earth observation, launch vehicle, and others. They probably want to take it a little more ahead, in the communication space, in the in-orbit economy, etc. It certainly is not the largest of the funds that we have seen, but it is one of those steps that is on the right path. That is on the right path for us to kind of, tap into some of the resources provided by the government fund and move ahead, right? Because this is a capital heavy sector and you sometime need that capital to reach that gestation period so that you can monetize at the right time.
Exactly. Picking up from what you said, while the government has allowed 100% FDI into some sub-segments in the space sector, like you said, the sector still requires the government to be its biggest customer in a bid to boost India's private space tech. Do you feel this is what is necessary?
I completely agree with that. I think we just don't have to come up with more capital, but we also need to really see and channelize the demand in the market which is available there. So it is very important not just to kind of create infrastructures or testing labs, but also to create demand.
Sure.
And I feel, given the kind of geography that we have as a country, our geospatial satellite imagery needs is only going to increase, right? Because our monitoring needs are going to increase. Sectors such as agriculture are, growing.
Absolutely.
So for all of those monitoring needs, we certainly need not just one satellite, but many, many satellites to do Earth observation.
Okay. Now, before we let you go, one final question, Suyash. Where is the space tech industry currently at? Are we in the building phase, R&D phase, or have we collectively reached a valid business, to go to market stage? Also, how far is profitability since the investments, like you said, are high and the turnarounds are long?
Well, a lot of questions actually. But yeah, I think in my opinion, it's a mixed bag, wherein for a few of the applications in space tech, we're still in R&D. For a few of the application, probably there are some of the prototypes that are already proven. And I feel we're not very far away from commercializing at scale. And we're also not very far away from, getting most of it, making it profitable as much as possible. So I think it will still need some more time, but we are not very far away from there.
All right. On that note, it's time for me to wrap up this conversation. So, Yash, many thanks for joining us on Startup Street. Wish you the very best for Drishti Mission. We'll surely keep a track of that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting.